When 39-year-old Christina Edwards was found dead in her Michigan home, police had no doubt who to look at first. Her husband, Daniel Edwards, had both motive and opportunity. The crime scene looked like a domestic dispute turned deadly, but what investigators didn't count on was the only eyewitness in the room, the family's pet parrot. And what that parrot repeated would turn the entire case upside down. Christina and Daniel had been married for 11 years. On the surface, they seemed like a typical couple. 2 kids, a nice house, and a busy life filled with work, school drop-offs, and weekend soccer games. But behind closed doors, friends say things had changed. Christina had confided in her sister that Daniel had become distant, controlling, angry. She was thinking of leaving him. But with 2 kids and shared finances, it wasn't easy. On a rainy Wednesday evening in March, Christina called her sister and whispered something chilling. "If anything happens to me, don't believe it was an accident." That was the last time anyone heard her voice. A neighbor had called 911 after hearing loud yelling and a bang coming from the Edward home. When police arrived, they found Christina unresponsive at the bottom of the staircase. Her head was bleeding. Daniel was there, shaken, holding his phone, claiming she fell. Daniel, panicked, she slipped. Oh my God, she just fell down the stairs. But things didn't add up. There were bruises on her arms, defensive wounds, and most telling, the blood spatter didn't match a fall. It looked like she'd been hit. Police detained Daniel on suspicion of murder. He didn't say much, just kept insisting it was an accident. Investigators processed the house thoroughly. They seized computers, phones, and even the family's baby monitor, hoping for any kind of recording. But nothing prepared them for what came from the living room. Inside a large, white cage sat a vibrant green and yellow parrot named Max Max, had been Christina's companion for over 6 years. She loved him like a child. Max had a habit of mimicking conversations he overheard, especially arguments. Christina often joked that he had a better memory than Daniel. Now, alone in the quiet room, Max started repeating something. At first, it was just random words. "No, stop. Get away. Why are you doing this?" Detectives turned their heads. Then Max said it, loud, clear, and chilling. "Daniel, don't. No, Daniel." The room went silent. An officer began recording the bird on his phone. Over the next 2 hours, Max repeated the same sentence multiple times. "Daniel, don't. What are you doing? Stop." It wasn't just a random sentence. It sounded like a plea for help, and it might have been Christina's final words, preserved by the only witness who couldn't lie. When the district attorney's office heard the recording, they were intrigued but cautious. Could an animal's mimicry be used as evidence? Enter Dr. Rebecca Simmons, an avian behaviorist and court-approved expert witness. She examined Max for days, recording his vocal patterns, triggers, and responses. Her conclusion stunned the courtroom. "This bird has accurately reproduced what it overheard," she explained. "The speech pattern matches a moment of distress. Parrots, especially African greys and similar species, form emotional bonds. This repetition is not random. It's mimic trauma." Defense attorneys objected. Of course, they claimed it was hearsay, but the judge ruled the parrot's recording admissible, not as direct testimony, but as a corroborated behavioral clue. The trial went forward. Daniel maintained his innocence throughout the trial. His defense, Christina slipped, but Max's chilling repetition was played for the jury multiple times. Combined with forensic evidence showing blunt force trauma, defensive wounds, and no evidence of a fall, the picture became clear. The final nail? A text found on Christina's phone, saved in drafts, never sent. "If I die tonight, tell the kids I try to leave." The jury deliberated for just 5 hours. Daniel Edwards was found guilty of second-degree murder. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison without parole. Outside the courtroom, Christina's sister tearfully hugged Max's cage. She loved that bird, she said to reporters, and somehow he spoke for her. Today, Max lives with Christina's sister and her 2 children. He still occasionally says her name, but the haunting phrases are rarer now. Therapists believe he may be slowly forgetting or healing. But what Max did in that courtroom, a parrot repeating his owner's last words, remains one of the most bizarre and powerful moments in courtroom history. In a world where justice can be silenced, sometimes the truth finds a way to speak, even through feathers and mimicry. Christina's voice was stolen, but Max made sure the world still heard her. In loving memory of Christina Edwards, let her story be a reminder. No voice is too small, no witness too unlikely. Like this story? Subscribe for more real cases with shocking twists. What do you think? Should animal speech be allowed in court? Comment below.